few weeks ago, a director of marketing that I coach told me that she wants to stop managing people and go back to being an individual contributor. Now, 10 years ago, saying that would have been like career suicide. But in 2026, kind of a savvy play. Companies are rewriting the org chart in real time. In the past, to move up, they used to ask, how big of a team can you run? Today, they're asking, how much can you do yourself? If we haven't met, I'm Andrew. I'm a former 2-time head of growth turned coach, and I'm seeing this shift come up with about a third of my clients today. So in this video, I'm gonna help you understand what is the one-person growth engineer? What's the skill set that it takes to be successful? And how do I get paid like a level 7 staff engineer? Well, I'm at it. Now, I mentioned engineering here on purpose because historically, engineers have had two distinct career tracks. One track is the people management route, and the second is to become a staff engineer. That basically means you've got no direct reports, massive service area, and usually executive level pay as your career progresses. But marketing and growth really only had one career track. And if you wanted more money or more impact or more influence, typically to move up the track, you had to manage more people. But this second option just made itself available in our world. Unless you've been living under a rock, you probably saw something that Elena Verna wrote. She is the head of growth at Lovable. And she wrote that earlier this year, she fired herself out of the leadership seat. She went back to being an individual contributor. She did it on purpose. She wrote a whole Substack piece about it called I See Work is the New Flex. And this is important because when one of the most followed voices in our space makes this move publicly, it's not career suicide. It's not some weird career choice. It's starting to become a new track that's available to us. And real quick, before we get too far into this video, if you work in growth and you're interested in leveling up, I have a free assessment. It's going to score you across the 6 systems that every growth leader needs to be successful. It's going to help you figure out where you're operating as a doer, a player coach, or a leader. It's going to take you 3 minutes, and it's going to map directly to the stuff that we're talking about in today's video. Link in the video description below if you're interested. Now, the first point is to figure out if the grass is greener or not. So before you go chasing this role, which is like this new hot thing, you got to figure out if it's actually the right fit for you. Now, that director that I mentioned at the beginning, she spent 4 years at the same company. They've gone through a CEO change, a recent reduction. She's had a couple new bosses. And on our call, she told me that she's tired, that she's burned out. She's in this weird toxic relationship with her job. And she said, I miss getting the work done. Every promotion that I've gotten has taken me further from the work. The politics were draining her. The work was really energizing, and she missed that. So that's what it looks like on the individual side, if it feels like that could be a right fit for you. But on the hiring side, I get to chat with tons of folks who are being recruited for these roles right now. I have a little bit of inside baseball as well. It's really a high-level individual contributor role. It's an IC role, but with director or VP level experience and strategic ability. Basically, they want someone to come in, do as much as they possibly can on their own, and then maybe leverage some external freelancers or contractors, or maybe identify where they need some full-time headcount down the road. So the job is really a senior decision-making job, plus hands-on execution, because you know what good looks like, because you've already led the function in the past, you've managed other people, you've had to hold them accountable, and you can build all this stuff yourself because these tools finally let one person cover so much surface area by themselves. And that combo is why so many ex-leaders like Elena and like a bunch of the clients that I'm going to mention today are winning these seats over traditional individual contributors. It's the judgment, the strategic ability, and the ability to drive alignment across the org, which is typically something you pick up as you get more senior in the career journey. That's the skill set that traditional individual contributors just haven't had the opportunity to build yet. So if you want to evaluate if this could be the right fit for you, there's a couple gut checks here. One, when you picture an amazing day at work, is it when your head's down in the trenches or in the weeds, or is it when you're kind of coordinating at a higher level? When you think about the work that's draining, is it executing, or is it the communication and alignment? And 3, really check in with yourself and ask, would you actually trade some of your direct reports to have more surface area, ownership, and accountability yourself for fewer meetings? If you answered that you enjoyed the stuff in the work more so than the communication and the alignment, the seat could be calling for you. Okay, so if we feel like the role could be a good fit, it brings us to our second point, which is what is the skill set that we need to be successful? And we kind of mentioned it's a senior strategic role plus AI native execution. There's a client of mine who's in this exact role right now. They were a former CMO at their last company. They led a marketing team of about 40 folks. And today they run growth at one of the biggest AI coding products in the world with almost no resources. Does a ton of stuff himself. He has an engineer that he gains access to on a project by project basis, but most of the time he ships all of his own experiments. He writes his own code with AI tools. He pushes stuff to production himself. And on a recent call we were talking about, he was laughing. He said, yeah, I guess I'm the head of the department and I'm also the engineer as well. And what I told him is that even though it feels frustrating at times and it feels like maybe he wanted to have more resources, he's learning the exact skill set and playbook that every company is betting on being part of the future. Now, you need 3 skills to be successful. The first is strategic decision-making, judgment, basically, understanding where the leverage is, knowing which problems to solve, what great looks like when you solve them, and when to move on from something that isn't working. Now, if you've been in a leadership seat for a few years, you've picked up this skill set. You can't outsource this. There's no prompt. There's no agent that's going to be replacing this experience. We need that layer. Now, the second skill layer we need is AI native execution. Being able to actually ship the stuff, the experiments, the analysis, the code. The tools are good enough now that you don't really need an engineer for most of your growth work. And the third skill layer we need is really understanding where these tools stop, the limits of what we can actually execute ourselves. And if you've been doing the job, you know exactly where one person hits the outer bands of what they're able to do, leveraging all of the tools today. And I think it's actually a credibility building thing to say in an interview, something like, I've been running this playbook. Here's like where I hit the wall. And here's the resources that I've identified I would need to move forward and to be really successful fixing those challenges that I faced in the past. That is something that most people haven't figured out yet. Now, to do this well, what you need to figure out is, where do you want to deploy AI in your workflow? My 10 cents would be, own the strategic components of the job, delegate the execution to the tools. Because asking AI, what should my strategy be, is really an anti-leverage move. And it's the thing that separates you from most individual contributors. We don't want to give away the thing that separates us from a more junior IC. Strategy, decision-making, prioritization, execution is where you can delegate out. So if you're looking to build this skill set and you haven't done it already, pick a project or a program and an experiment that you would normally hand off to somebody else. See if you can ship it yourself. End to end, let AI do most of the heavy lifting. You'll build proof, you'll figure out the skill set, you'll figure out the tools, and you'll find the outer bands of what you can actually do versus what you need help with all at the same time. Now, our third point really builds off of that, because even if you can do the work of the whole team, you still need a system, because there is so much surface area that you could cover that you could drown in too much stuff. And the leaders that I coach that are in this role, they kind of describe it that way. They say, look, I'm spread thin. I've got a million projects that I'm juggling. One of them told me it felt like they were standing at a door watching this tsunami of work coming at them. Felt a little bit frozen. And if you're one person who's covering all of the surface area that in the past a team would have supported, you get to that point faster because there's nobody else to delegate to, nobody else to absorb the work overflow. So we need a system to figure out what work to do and what not to do. There's 3 parts to this. First is figuring out what great looks like. What is the one KPI that defines success? If we could fast forward a year or 2 in time and you were able to be massively successful in your role, maybe gain a raise or a promotion, what's the one number that you were able to move? Once you figure that out, the second thing to do is to create a short list of bets that ladder up to that number so you can move the needle on that number that's so important to your success. And the third thing would be to make a kill list or a kill criteria of everything that you're not going to do right now to focus on the higher leverage work. If you haven't done this before, take a step back and evaluate the portfolio of bets that you've got that ladder up to success. On a week-to-week basis, see if you can set up a couple big work blocks, one for building, one for shipping and reviewing data, and the other one for having conversations and driving alignment and buy-in. Because even if you're a team of one, it doesn't mean that people just let you do your thing and give you a long leash. You still need to make sure that we're coordinating with the executives and with our cross-functional stakeholders. And when a request comes in that doesn't ladder up to the number and to the list of bets that you've prioritized, put it on your not right now list. Make it somewhere public. You can do it in Trello. You can do it in whatever Kanban board that you use. But a lot of the power and the influence in this seat comes from letting folks know, here's what I'm doing and here's what I'm not going to do right now. We need to make that public as well. All right. All of this brings us to our fourth point, one you've probably been waiting for, which is the money. And the reason why growth and marketing folks have never made level 7 staff engineer money is that our field never had a workflow for it, a track for it. We capped out in terms of what we made as a doer unless we went down the manager route. So when that director that I mentioned at the beginning of the video told me, hey, I'd even be okay taking a pay cut to step back into the work, I stopped her. She makes well over 200K, but I told her the truth, which is at her level, with her strategic ability combined with the service area that she can cover today, she's a badass IC, and I think she can make way more than that. And those are the offers that I've been seeing with the folks I've been supporting as well. In the past, our comp typically followed our team size, but today we're really seeing it follow the surface area. Because if one person can now own the same surface area and output that a team afforded in the past, the market's going to adjust. We're going to get paid somewhere in between 1 and 4 salaries for that work. And the company and the individual all wins in that scenario. And I think we're probably just a few years away from having level 7 IC marketers making $500,000 a year plus doing 10x what they were doing 5 years ago with all the new tools and agents available. Engineers have been living in that world for years. I think we're next. Now, the market pays for proof. That's one of the hard parts here is there is no third party saying, are we AI native or not? So anything you can do to build a portfolio of undeniable proof is going to be beneficial here. There's another director who I coach recently got into an A16Z AI fellowship. Essentially, this is a third-party stamp of approval saying this person is actually AI native. It's like proof of work. After she joined the fellowship, she was starting to get more than 10 companies a week reaching out, all essentially making the same offer. Come to our company, be a high-powered IC, tell us what resources you need, and we're going to pay you handsomely in the process. So the formula to building this proof, somewhat simple: do the work in public, talk about what you're building, and collect third-party proof and outcomes wherever you can get it. Because a stamp from someone else beats any claim that you can make about yourself. So that's what the one-person growth engineer looks like. That's the job, that's the systems you need to be successful, and hopefully the paycheck you can unlock on the other side. If you want to know if you're operating as a doer, player, coach, or leader, I've got my free assessment. I'll put it in the video description below. And if you're sitting in this seat today or you're about to step into it, you want support from someone who's coached 100 other directors, VPs, heads of growth, I'll put a link below to book a call with me. And if you want that other career track, the one that manages the bigger team, gaining influence and impact via others, I have tons of videos on that as well. Please visit my channel and explore. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one.